Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Uh, we'll start on the bed this time around, but hopefully the first video didn't bore you too much. Like I said, I'm basically just doing these videos to get ahead of a bunch of questions I know I'm going to get over this truck in the future. So with that being out of the way, we'll start on the bed. I'm pretty excited about this because I've put a lot of time in thinking about this bed. This bed here is a conglomeration of the last 4 trucks that I've owned doing this line of work. So I'll walk you around it real quick, but it's going to be kind of a pain in the butt to open these lids and everything. So I'll put you down and get everything opened up, and we'll go through it box by box and section by section. But while we're going through it, I'll post some pictures up too of how the bed got put on and different steps in the build process. So without further rambling, let's get into it. Okay, I lied to you. I want to show you how these boxes all open up because it's kind of neat, and most people don't really realize how much thought goes into these trucks. But let me set you down and we'll start opening this side up. I don't know if you noticed, but walking around the truck, there's no latches on this lid or on that lid. And that's basically to make them more waterproof and keeps people from opening them up if you're at like a hotel or something. But this is my rod box, which we'll go into, but there's a cable in this box and in my lead wells over there that open these lids. You simply pull it like that. Now let's go over to the other side and do the same thing over here. So lead well opens up like this. I usually just take that off. Never driven over that yet. I'm sure the day's coming, but just pull that, open that up. Then we'll start going through the boxes. There it is, all opened up. This is about the way the truck looks most of the day while we're working. We'll start on the driver's side and work our way around. This bed was built by a guy in Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas, who owns a company called Hot Shot Specialty Welding. I can't say enough good things about this bed and him. Awesome guy to work with. I basically drew everything up, laid it out how I wanted, about the size I wanted that box, the distance from the machine from that box, and all that. Another kind of, not really unique, but most guys don't do it. These bed sides go straight. They match with the cab. They don't, flare out to the edge of the fender and then back. I just hate how wide the backs of these beds get when guys do that. But like I said, to each their own. But he did an awesome job on this bed. I have not found a single bed that is built better than this one. I mean, he went so far as to, I'll show you pictures when I brought the bed home. Soapstone marks underneath the bottom side of the bed on stuff nobody will ever see ever again, of perfectly spaced stitch welds on pieces under there. I mean, it's just every piece of this thing was completely detailed by him. And that's another thing, there is no body work on this truck. This is sandblasted and painted. That's it. There's no body filler on anything on this truck. I mean, look at that fender to body fit. I mean, there's lots of guys that build beds. I'm not saying that I can build a bed this good, but I'm here to tell you right now, there's not many that can, because you see all these painted up beds that look super slick and super nice. Well, yeah, you start blasting some of that paint off and you'll see just piles of Bondo and everything else just on the back sides of these trucks. I'm not taking nothing away from anybody, but I'm just saying that you get what you pay for when you buy these beds. You can buy a CM skirted flatbed and that thing will be junk in about 2 years. He laid everything out, what would work for him to build the bed. I gave him the general idea of the design that I wanted, and he ended up putting it together. So this box right here, most guys lay 2 oxygen bottles down right behind the cab, and I wanted to be able to do that if I had to in the future. So this box is that dimension. These levels, the bottom one's a 4-foot level, so a 4-foot level fits all the way inside this box. So all my extra like grinding wheels, parts, filters for the welding machine, stuff like that. I got 3/4 inch socket set, weed burner, all that extra stuff that I don't use all the time is back there to where if I need to get to it, I can. And I have it on the truck. Pinch bars, couple pipe wrenches, lights, torpedo levels, basically just little hand tools and stuff that I don't use all the time end up in here. Hose reel. I've had great luck with that. Believe it or not, it doesn't leak 5+ years later. I have more problems with the quick connect fittings on the hoses than I do on that hose reel. Okay, down here, this looks kind of interesting to some. Now getting into how I fill the truck up with diesel fuel. This is how I used to fill a truck with diesel fuel. This is how I fill it now. So I'm more of a weld foreman now than I am just a welder, and I end up running a crew here and there for the company I work for. Just I wear a few different hats at work anymore. So this machine ended up getting pulled off the truck. Well, whenever I filled the truck with diesel fuel right here, I mean, that's slick. That looks cool. It works good. But I have to undo that fuel neck every time, undo the leads, undo the remote, all that stuff just to pull the machine off, just so I can put like drag up tank or just have more room on the truck to haul stuff, fittings, whatever I need. Well, that's way too much of a pain. So now I got to where I only have to undo the leads. I got a plug for my remote. It comes off, and I don't even have to mess with that anymore. That's where I fill the truck up. So 2 bolts, 2 leads, and the machine can come off. Way easier, way faster. I'm not working on it for an hour before I can pull the machine. Got a lot of people always ask about that, because I haven't seen that done on too many trucks. I don't think I've ever seen it done on a different truck, to be honest with you. Welding machine is a 2011 Classic 300D. It's got 8,700 hours on it. Up until last year, that thing has been the most reliable thing I've ever owned. Haven't had a single issue with it. It gets all full synthetic oil too. Oil changes religiously. Last year I replaced the rotor and the stator and PC board in it. But other than that, that thing is, that's an awesome 300D welding machine. I love that. It's got a 4-cylinder Perkins in it. If that thing ever lays down on me, I will find another one just like it because I like it so much. Leads are in the wells, obviously. So the way this truck is set up, and most guys set their trucks up, everything, hoses, leads, and a remote, all come off this side of the truck. So whenever you pull up to a hole, I'll post a couple pictures in this video. You'll see that you pull your leads off the side of the truck, because if you're working on a right-of-way, you're driving up and down the right-of-way, and the pipe's off to one side. So you can just pull off this side of the truck instead of having to, have your hoses on that side of the truck and your leads on this side of the truck and a remote on the back of the truck, whatever. The only other thing the only other main thing guys do is put leads and stuff on the back of the truck. Some guys, you'll have wells on the very back or reels coming off the back. That works really good if you're fabbing, like doing a bunch of fabrication in shops and stuff. Then you just back up to the door and you can throw all your stuff off the back of the truck. This doesn't work terrible for that, which I do more fabbing than anything. It's just, you just got to pull everything off and then pull it into the shop. Okay, so the toolbox on my side. Just little hand tools, basically. Cap and gloves, get that out of the way. So I got 2-hole pins, big and small, a couple 100-foot tapes for laying out, center finder, wrap around, temperature gun for preheating, tape measures. Here's something. Anybody that's into pipe fitting, go get one of these. This is, if you get anything out of this video, get this. I haven't seen many people use these. This is a old standby flatback, fastcap.com. Okay, I got this from Menards. This tape measure looks like a regular tape measure. It's going to be tough doing it one-handed, but there's no curve to the tape, so it's real loose. Let me see if I can get this out. Look at that. You're probably wondering, why in the heck would you want a tape like that? Well, when you're cutting fittings down, you can wrap that from front to back, you know, along the back side or the inside of your fitting, way easier than trying to use like 100-foot tape or fight a wraparound or whatever. That thing is worth its weight. I think it's like $6 or something. I bought like 4 or 5 of them when I bought it, and that's my last one. I need to go get some more, but that's awesome. Extra donut for band and crawler. Just little stuff, plugs, fittings, whatever I might need. A couple crescents. Torches sit there. Long barrel, short barrel. So this is why most guys don't do beds like this with the straight back sides. This box is small in comparison to most guys. I don't haul beveling machines. If I haul beveling machine, I have a bracket that sits on the back of the truck. It goes in one of these 2-inch receivers right there. And whatever size pipe we're working on, I put the machine on that, either the band and crawler or the beveling machine. Some guys haul beveling machines with them all the time down in these boxes. I don't do that. All I do is just haul the typical hand tools, a couple hand torches, rosebud. Let's see. Hammers. Got a steel, brass. Here's a clamp handle for your bigger clamps for your bigger pipe. And an extra welding hood. And then my pancakes down there. I got an extra one in the cab of the truck just in case. But like I said, just typical normal stuff in this side for me. This is my box basically. And then this is the helper box over here. This has the grinding wheels, 1 1/8 combination wrench for the bottles. If you didn't know, you know now. That's what size the nuts are on the oxygen acetylene. Almost always. Some crescents, some spud wrenches, channel locks, spacing tools, vice grips, dope and tape for whatever we might need it for. I usually don't carry this stuff in here, but it stayed in there from the last job we were on. And then grinders. I'm missing one right now. Got to work on it, but grinders hang there. Remote. Temperature sticks for preheating. Striker. Little crescent for whatever. Electrical tape for taping up all the leads when he nicks them or whatever. I'm just kidding. I have pretty good helpers. And then the rod box. So I keep 10-pounders, rod guards in there. This is probably the only thing I'm not super thrilled about on this truck. I can only fit 2 50-pound cans of welding rod. I kind of wish I would have been able to fit 3, because by the time you put, you know, your bead rod, so for instance, we basically work on 16-inch and smaller pipe most of the time. So I got 1/8-inch bead rod, 532 arc 80s for filling and hot passing or whatever we're working on, and I'd like to get a can of 3/16, but there's just no room for them, so I ended up just throwing 3/16 in the rod guards. Then I carry some 7018, a few cans, because the procedures that we mostly follow, once you open them up, unless they end up in an oven, you can't reuse that can after the first 24 hours. So basically, if you open a can, it's done for that day. So that is the rod box, helper box, my box, all that crap back. So most of the gas companies and oil companies nowadays, it's not like a industry standard yet, but I'm sure it'll get there eventually. They want your bottles standing up. I talked to you earlier about how most guys lay 2 oxygen bottles down. Well, I wanted this truck not really future-proof, but I can kind of see where the industry's going. So I figured I'd just start out with the bottle standing up. I do mostly fab work, so I'm in a shop almost always, so I hardly ever use these bottles. Well, whenever I am on a right-of-way, if I'm doing tie-ins or something like that, you don't really use a ton of oxygen, and I'm there with another welder or two usually. So one bottle usually gets me by, and I pay attention to my stuff enough to where if I see that starting to get low, you know, I swap it out before it becomes a problem. Milwaukee crate, that is actually missing a propane tank right now. Propane bottle fits in there, a 20-pound propane bottle fits in perfectly. Grasshopper, wheel chocks, then light bar. Mud board fits in between the machine and box nicely with the hillside right there. I'm actually needing a new mud board. But most people don't know what this thing is. There's a mud board. That's what a guy lays on in the ditch so he doesn't have to lay in the mud, for anybody that was wondering. Arctic cooler, that way nobody steals the Yeti. I painted that machine a couple times. Nothing crazy, but it looks cool. All right, guys. Well, thanks for sticking with me. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you've seen something that might help you, or, you know, might answer some questions that you have and you see these trucks going down the interstate or whatever. If you like the video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. We'll have some more cool stuff coming out. Thanks. See ya.